that way. To channel this concept like pretty soon, so that's why sorry for this, like these time changes and all. Let's wait for 2-3 minutes. I need to make one small announcement regarding the time and stuff. Please adjust. Voice is breaking. Yeah, please adjust today, right? Actually, I'm not even in a good network zone. Voice is low or voice is like breaking? Because if the voice is low, then it's because of my health. But if the voice is breaking, then it's because of internet issues. Just hold for a second, huh? Let me check. It was low, now it's fine. Array, great. Thank you, Richa. It's fine, right? The connectivity is average. Like I would say it is like able to, you guys are able to get what I'm trying to say, right? It was low, yeah, right. ठीक है, ये pace ठीक है? Good for all? Because like majorly every single thing is, pinching and hurting right now. It's like not in a good state, but yeah, we'll do something. We'll wait for 2-3 minutes. Then I need to make a small discussion regarding the timings. Also, let's wait for all the students to join so that they can get to know about the time and stuff, right? Let's wait for 2-3 minutes, please. Great, great, Divyansh, great, Kajal. Thank you, Akash. Okay, I'm just sharing my screen. Just let me know, is it visible to you? Please let me know, is my screen visible? Is the screen visible?
Yes, sir.
Great, great, man. Great. Thank you. I'm just changing the lecture. Okay, so basically, from now onwards, what I am thinking, just a second. Yeah, I'm good. From now onwards, I was like thinking to change the timings and like to divide the schedule in two different halves, right? So like we are about to end with a JavaScript, and we are about to like in next 2 or maximum 3 classes, we'll be starting with our project thing, right? After 2 or 3 classes, we'll be starting with the project thing, right? We'll be starting with our projects. Great. Okay. So I was thinking to divide your time in such a way so that you will be like provided with TAs, right? What are TAs? TAs are your teaching assistants. Teaching assistants. Assistants. What they'll do is like just for example, if I'm trying that this is my day one of like day one of uh, making or started making the project, right? Uh, Someone's mic is unmute, please. Sir, when will we get the access to the attendance and assignment portal you told about? Yeah, it will be done by the TAs itself. They'll be checking your assignments. Like all the TAs are being like in the loop. They are now being active. They've started being active now. Like I would suggest that maybe according to the groups, I'll complete. Let's listen about this first. Let's assume I'm making my project, right? I'll be starting making the project. So there is a possibility that you could be facing like few issues in day one, right? So you will see the recording. You will try to do your own hands-on, and if you guys will be facing any problems, right? Facing problems or facing difficulties with the code, facing difficulty with the code or not getting the required output or not getting the required output required output, right? So at that time you will be like getting connected to your TA, right? At that time, you'll be getting connected to your TA. What they'll do is they'll ask you to send your code in some of the formats, right? Let's assume they'll ask you to send your code either in a zip file format or they'll ask you to send the code as a Google Drive, right? According to their and yours convenience, they'll ask you to send your code and they'll find the bug. They'll help you out with your doubts and all this stuff. Let's assume we are having around 120 students here. 120 students is an average which I'm taking consideration. So for that matter, every 20 students will be allotted one TA, right? Because it's not necessary that all the students will be facing problems and all. If you will be like revisiting the videos and if you'll be like checking out the stuff again and again, right? So every student would not be facing the problem. So this TA, one TA will be assigned to every 20 students. Just estimate guess right now. It could be like assigned to 10 as well or 15 as well. But according to my rough estimation, like 20 students will be handled by one TA for your doubts as well as for your incomplete project as well as helping you out for that stuff, right? So this is basically the role of the TAs. And along with that, the TAs will be like you will be submitting your assignments to the TAs only. They'll be marking you. I've given them the assignment one and two till now. We'll be discussing assignment two, I guess, today also. But this TA will be marking you on the assignments as well. Like all the allotted uh, members, all the allotted students will be giving or providing the link or providing by any means whatever they'll ask you with uh, answers to the TAs, and they'll be marking you for that, right? TAs will be marking you according to groups or divisions, right? Whatever we say, groups slash divisions, right? Along with that, there is a slight change in the timing thing here. The timing will be divided in two halves again. In the morning, I'm not sure of the timings for the morning stuff. In the morning, TAs will help you out, right? TAs will help you out with the codes and all the stuff. And in the evening, we'll be conducting the sessions, right? In the evening, we'll be conducting the sessions from 6 to 8, or we can like take a buffer of 5, 10, 15 minutes. It can be 6:15, it can be 5:50, but a estimate is like it is a good practice to start at 6 according to me, right? So let's do one thing. Let's make it from 6 to 8 right now in the evening. Like that, I guess that is comfortable for all. And if it is not, then please kindly adjust. And in the morning session, I'm not sure of the timing. Timing, I'll let you know, or Aditya sir will send you the mail regarding that timing. It will be confirmed soon, so that because we need to make Slack channels for you guys as well, and each and every TA will be allotted there. You guys will be added to some channels, right? So Slack is something where you can take a general discussion and doubts kind of stuff, right? So that will also take time. So the timing will be confirmed soon, right? And evening sections will be like taking place from 6 to 8. Like, is that fine for all? Everyone is clear with it. So can you adjust from 8 to 7:45 or before? Like you want me to start at 8? Can it be 5 as I have another class from 7? Yeah, it's very difficult because like right now I'm not even in the state to reach home by, let's say, 6 to 7:45. Yeah, Kushagra, I can do 6 to 7:45 for sure, but starting before 6 is like really difficult task for me because I'll not be even home at that time. Like today I'm on a leave because of the health issues, but starting before 6 is something which is really impossible. So before 6 it's like really difficult. Sure. Just before it, huh? I'll definitely like if you have some other classes or if you have some other thing, then you can like see the 15 or 10 minutes recording, or like let's assume you guys have class or 7, right? So you can attend 1 hour class and you can see the recordings. The recordings are there for you only for your like missed out stuff, right? So kindly adjust with this. I'm really sorry for this shift, but it's really important at this stage now. Like that is something which is also bothering me. But of course, you guys are also being like troubled because of me and the schedule, right? So really sorry for that. Abhishek, yeah, great, Abhishek. Classes, yeah, okay. So okay, let's start with some of the like I'll be little low today. Please excuse me for that, but I don't want to just escape the entire class. Already, I have like given you the homework for that matter, right? I give you the homework to sorry, I gave you a homework of right, yeah, starting all these things and doing the assignment, callbacks, arrow functions, first class functions, prototypes, map filter, and closures, right? So, uh, have I told you about the scope? Yeah, scope is done. Like local block scope part is done. So great. We can start with the closures, I guess then. Right. Is this clear to you all, please? So what about express and yeah, it will be started from like after two classes. It will be started after two classes. Don't worry, nothing will be skipped. It will be started. Uh, Thank you. If we'll start the project soon. The project will be started soon. Along with that, we'll be learning the technologies, right? If we'll be using database, right? So for example, I am creating a layout first. Just for the instance, I'm creating the layout first. So that will be done using Bootstrap and CSS. So that will be explained in the project. So let's assume if we encounter the database thing, if we need the database, then we'll be learning about database and then we'll be implementing it side by side. So nothing will be skipped. That is for sure. Don't worry. Things will be clear to you. That is my promise. It will be clear. So nothing will be skipped, Alankar. Don't worry. Right? So I guess this scope part was clear. Higher order functions were clear, and this timing part is clear. Right? Just please acknowledge once now. This timing part is clear so that there is no discrepancies from the next time. Timing part is clear with all. Please acknowledge. Great, great. Great, then great. Okay, so we can start with the closures, right? This is also important, but of course, the syllabus must be bifurcated. Let's assume we are talking about closures, right? Closure, I would like to give you a direct implement. Sir, can you please start at 6:15? Okay, Mohit, we can like take 5 or 7 minutes buffer. You can join at six. Like majorly in the starting 5 7 minutes, it's just about the intro of what we are doing and like just a little recap kind of stuff, right? So don't worry. If something would be important, then just go through the recording of 15 minutes. Hardly it'll be like it'll take 15 minutes only, right? Okay, so I'm making a folder. Just excuse me for that, right? Um, this is your lecture number. I would say this is my lecture number 10, right? Lecture 10. Inside my lecture 10, I'll be making a folder of closures. So again, index app, my app, index.html, and my app.js. This is my app.js. Great. So I'll go out here and I'll see that how can I like write the functions, right? So initially, if I want to know about closure, right? So I'll be writing a function. Let's assume I'm writing a function named as let's say fun. I can write inside it like let's assume I'm inside my fun function. I'm inside my fun function, right? Inside my fun function. Inside the fun function, I can also like initialize a variable. Like it is also possible. I'm initializing a variable, giving it a value of 0. Okay, let's say I'm giving another function inside it, right? Inner fun. Let's make it inner fun, and along with that, I am like incrementing the value of x here, as well as I'm consoling out inside inner fun, inside inner fun, right? So this is basically okay. I can return it as well. I need to return it as well. Return my inner fun function. And that is, I guess, okay for the code, right? So what I'm doing is I'll be calling this fun function. It's not the exact function. It's just fun. I'll be calling this function and I'll be saving it to some of the variable. Let's say I'll make it a variable of let's f is equal to uh, let's let f is equal to fun, right? So tell me the output. What according to you guys will be the output for this code? Please let me know. Take 1 or 2 minutes and let me know about the output of this code. Yeah, output of this code. Zero, one. Uh, I've not consoled the value of x, then I don't know why I'm getting 0 and 1 as an answer. I've not even consoled the value of x here. See the code properly. I've not consoled the value of x yet. Then how can undefined be encountered? Yash and Dipanshu. I've not even written console the value of x. Then I don't know like how guys are getting undefined. Okay, let's uh, change the question. If you want to do it with x only, I'll simply copy paste it and I'll simply give it a value of let's say x, right? Now tell me, now the problem will be arised inside my fun. Great. Okay, so I've made a modification in the code. Now tell me if I can even comment it out, like it hardly matters. I can even comment this out. Now what is the output? Right now, what is the possible output for the value of x? This is basically the question. Like, just simply change the value of console. Tell me the answer now. Great. I need the answer for this manipulation, right? This manipulation. I guess one inside my fun function, inside my fun function, inside my fun function one, inside my fun function one. A behave above answer is same inside my fun function one inside my fun function. Chalo, great. Most of you have tried. Let's see like what is the possible output for this. Let's check it out now. Right. If I'll simply inspect it, I'll go. Then it's inside my fun function. I have uh, just a second. I've not called it. I've not called even f yet. This is just inside the fun function, and inner fun is being returned. That's it. So if we see, then we are just getting inside my fun function, right? Inside my fun function, I'm not getting where are your answers. I'm not getting one or zero, any of the value inside my fun function. Great, Akash, great, pretty great. I don't know about those who are saying same. I really don't know the answer, but I guess you guys are saying it right. I'm assuming you guys are saying it right. So why is it just like saying me that okay, it is just inside my func, and why this console.log x is not printing? It is not printing because now this variable f is basically storing the returned function, the returned value which is being returned from the function which was called by this fun, right? This fun, when it was called, it is returning the entire function that is from line 4 to the line 8. Now, if I'll call this f, then only I'll be getting the values of my x and all the stuff. Then see, now the variable which I created was x, and inside x, I can see that yes, my x is being manipulated because I initialized it by 0, and then I manipulated it with an increment of 1. Just x plus plus is increment of x plus 1. That's one and the same thing. So after calling the function, it happened, not before calling. I guess now the output is clear, but here comes my question. Like, uh, let's just copy paste this code to my browser, right? Just making it a little clear, right? Just making it intended. I know I'm a bit slow today, but it is like really hurting while speaking. So please adjust for the day, right? I'll be pretty soon well. So please adjust, and thank you so much for understanding the timing issues as well. Right. Okay. So this is basically my function, and this is basically my inside like not this. This is basically my inside function, not this. So what I'm doing is calling this function. Great. I'm calling this function. It will go to the MCP. It will go to the MCP. Right. Two phases are there inside my GEC. One is the MCP, memory creation phase, code execution phase, or context, anything for that matter. I'll be providing all my function as it is, like all the functions will be written as it is inside it, and along with that I'll be skimming out the variables. What are the variables? This f is the variable, right? Right now this f is like undefined, but once this code will run, once this function will start running, then the flow of code will initially go to the line laterally, because we cannot enter inside the function without its calling. Here we're calling the function fun, right? We're calling the function fun, and whatever is being given as returned, or the answer, that will be stored inside this variable of f, right? Great. So what will happen is, after just encountering this fun function, after encountering this fun, I'll be entering this line. So inside of my console, if I go to my console stuff, right, inside my console, this inside uh, my func function will be shown. Inside my func function will be showed and printed, right? Now I have created one more like one more variable, right? I have one more variable, like whenever a function is like called, so like what happened was one more execution context was created, and all the variables were skimmed off. So x was basically given the value of undefined, and after being undefined, the first line will run. The first line will run in this way. This will be printed, and now this x will be changed from the value of undefined to 0. I guess this is pretty clear. I can either like rely on you that you guys are aware of it. We will not be entering this place. Why? Because we cannot enter a function, and we'll simply be returning inner function, right? So all the tasks which were written here are done. This will be like out of my call stack. And now this f, which was initially undefined, now the entire inner function definition is written here. Like this entire definition, this entire, which I'm like making cloud inside it, this entire definition will be stored here. The cloud will be stored here. Now, if my definition is stored here, can I go inside it unless I'll run it? No, I cannot go inside unless I run it. So for that matter, I need to run it using this functional expression kind of stuff. So this is my functional expression kind of stuff only. So I'll be running the f, then I'll be entering this x. But since this call stack, sorry, this execution context was thrown out because of like was not in existence because of this return function. It was thrown out of the call stack. But then also, like, this fun was also a part of it. Fun was also thrown out of my call stack, but then also I am able to access the value of this x, and I can increment it by calling it using f function. I can increment it. Why is it happening? It is happening because of closure. Now, let me tell you the definition. This is clear till now, right? Like what is basically happening behind the scenes. It is clear till now, right? Please let me know it is clear, right? It is clear, right? Clear for all? Clear, clear. Great. Okay. So, yeah. So now let me tell you the definition first, and I'll explain you what is basically closure, right? So it is known as function along with its lexical environment of the parent environment. of the parent. See, functions along with the lexical environment of the parent is basically returned as a whole. Like पूरा का पूरा उसका lexical environment is also returned along with that. Sorry, along with that, that function is also returned, right? Is returned as a whole. Right, so this is basically the definition of closure. So what here happening is when we are returning this function, right, this inner function is being returned, then not only this function but all the variables which its parents are having, lexical environment of the parents, right, along with that there'll be like all the variables which will be made inside the parent of it as well, right, all the lexical environment is like local memory as well as the lexical environment of the parent, right? So every single thing is being like I would say binded with it, attached with it, and then it will be like returned in such a way so that whenever even after like 100 lines of code or after even using it after like thrown out of after being thrown out of this call stack, then also even after using we are able to access the value of x and we can manipulate x plus plus functions over it. This is what our closure basically is. Right. This is why we are able to access the value of x even after the termination of our call stack, or maybe I would termination of our execution context, or I would say execution context is thrown out of our call stack. That is why that is also we are able to access. Right. This is because of closures. Right. So of course go to MDN and also read about it. I gave you homework as well, so I hope most of you guys are able to. Uh, get the things, and if not then please refer MDN. This is really important. So MDN पे जरूर जाना, right? So I'm assuming this was clear, right? So now what is with us is like callbacks. Next thing which we'll be discussing is callbacks. Now what are callbacks? Let's see the definition first. So callbacks are basically known as functions. It is like just a very hyped word, but it's like pretty simple and pretty sorted, and like the use of it is also pretty normal, right? Callbacks, I would say, is known as functions which are passed as an argument. Functions which are passed as an argument. Function which has passed as an argument into the other function and being called there. This is basically the definition, that is functions which are basically passed as an argument only inside this uh, I would say inside this function, inside any of the other function, right? So, and being called there is basically known as uh, callbacks. That's like same, simple and same. Let's like basically go to the example so that it is a bit clear to you guys. Should I comment this up? Or should I like make a new, okay, I'll be making new stuff. I'll simply be commenting it out. What I'm doing is I'm making one more folder. One more folder is callbacks and callbacks. Okay, right. A small topic. After that, you'll be doing. You'll be like making the implementation of callbacks. Right. We'll be doing that. Index.html. If I go here, app.js, and inside my callbacks, I'll be making a one more file that is app.js. I've connected it. Sorry, I've connected it here. Yes, I've connected it, giving it a heading so that it can be visible. Callbacks, right? Callbacks. Let's make a function first, right? So how can we visualize callback is like, let's say I'm making a function again. Function, everything like is visualized using a function, right? So that is how powerful functions are in JavaScript. So everything is a part of function, right? So that's why you can see the representation and visualization using it, right? Okay, so I'm making a function X, uh, function fun, and I'll be like making a function. What name should I give it to it? Uh, okay, let's give it inner fun only. It's easy for you to understand like this, right? let's make it an inner fun function, and we are making like some statement inside it, just a basic statement, I would say, console.log. uh, I am inside inner fun function, right? This is the basic statement which I'm giving right now inside it, just for the visualization stuff, right? Okay, so inner fun and the function is I've made, right? So I said that function which are passed as an argument, right? So okay, what I'll do, I'll be calling my above function. I'll be calling my main above function, and after calling my main function, what I'll do is I'll simply pass this function as an argument to it. So how will I do it? I'll simply name the above function which I've called there, and after that, I'm passing this as a function inside it, right? Possible I can pass this inner function as an argument towards my main fun function, and I said that okay, calling it to the main function is like if I'll simply be like giving or catching it in a parameter. Let's say I'm catching it in a parameter of x, then I can simply call it out up here, right, inside the main function. So this basically would be an example of my inner fun function, right? So let's save it and let's see the implementation part first of it, right? I've simply saved it, and if I see, I'll inspect, then see I'm able to see that I am inside my inner fun function. How am I able to see it? Let's go to the code and see. Initially, I'm calling my fun function. Inside my fun function, I have passed the parameter as about the argument as inner fun. What is inner fun? Inner fun is also one of my functions which is present with me. So okay, this inner fun is basically now like passed as an argument. So now after calling this fun function, after calling this function, this x is being basically assigned to the value of inner fun, and I'm calling x. So this x is x, which is my inner fun, is being executed, and we can see in the console that yes, I'm able to print whatever statement I have written, right? So simple. This is like easily seen. Uh, for better understanding, let's do a similar kind of example, like example two, which is basically which will be basically a little more clear, right? Let's say just a second. I'll be making my example two here. Again, let's say I'm having a function. I'll be saying it a function, main function, like main. I'm naming it as main. Wait, so that, or I should name it as other, right? I said that called by other function. I'll name it as other. So what I'll do, I'll again make a function, and I'll name the function as callback function. Right. I'll name that function as let's make it CB. CB stands for like callback function. Okay. So this callback function will be having, let's say, a value of let x is equal to 0, and console dot log the value of x inside it, and let's say I'm incrementing this x as well. Again, I'm doing console.log, right? I'll just shift it up and down, right? This is my main callback function. I've given it a name of callback function only. What I'll do is I'll execute my other function. Inside my other function, I'll be setting this callback as my uh, argument, and inside this I'll simply be calling my callback function, right? Callback at what parameter should I take it? I'll take it with callback, right? So that this is not confusing for you guys. I'll be like calling it with the parameter with which I have taken the value of CB. It is like very much possible, and let's see what will be the implementation part for this, right? uh, where is the implementation? Let's see. In the first case, I initialized, where is my code? Yeah, in the first case, I simply initialize it by x. Then, okay, this function is being passed. Once it is passed, right, all the lexical environment as well as all the like closure stuff which I explained will be exactly sent to the like my other function. And while calling it there, then all the things are present, like all the variables and all the functions. Let's assume we can have functions inside my CB function as well, right? So every memory creation phase thing, I would say memory creation phase thing is present there with us. So that's why we can call it up there, and we are like easily able to see the outputs, right? So now the question arises that how we use callbacks and for what matter do we use callbacks, right? So for the implementation of part of callbacks, right? If we see the implementation part for callbacks, I asked you to like study about this map function. I asked you to study about this filter. I'll be explaining this filter and map both, and I'll be explaining about the sort function as well. So right, these are basically wherein uh we can implement wherein we can implement just a second now. Okay, so map filter sort wherein we can implement our uh, CBs, right? CBs that stands for callbacks, right? Where we can implement our CBs. So let's see it with the map so that things or pictures get a little clear to you guys that what is being happening. Like if I talk about map, this map is basically is our array method. Like this is our array method. So what I'll be like portraying right now is, let's assume I'm having an array. Let's say my name of array is A, and I'll be giving it a value till, sorry, 7, 8, and 9. I'm giving it a value till 9. What I want to do is now I want one more array with, let's say, with the name of B. What I want to do is I simply want one more array with which will be having the square of the numbers, right? I want this array to be having the value in the square format of the numbers, right? 36, 49, I guess 64 and 81 are the possible values for the, let's assume A is a number array, and then we want B, and the B will be basically the square of the numbers which are present inside my as the present as the elements of my array. Okay, so how will we do it? We'll be making one more small, I would say one more folder. I would say it as array methods. These are my array methods, right? So what I'll do, I'll be making index.html. I'll be making app.js. Again, I'll be giving it a heading of array methods, and here I'll be like adding the source. What is the source? App.js, right? Great. So what I'll do is I said that I have an array named as A, and all the elements in my array are like this, right? All the elements in my array are like this. So what I now want is I'll be mapping each and every element of my array A towards my array B. And after mapping them, I want them to save the answer as my squares of them or anything for that matter. Let's assume square for that, cube for that, right? So what I'll do is I'll simply make a function, right? First of all, I'll make a function that I'm squaring the numbers. Like I need to square the number first, then only I'll be like able to map it or apply it, right? So to squaring the numbers to basic function which I'll be doing is like the square method will be taking some number as an argument. Right, this number will be taking some number as an argument. So I'll say let's that number which will be encountering is num. So in order to get the square, I'll simply multiply by that number itself. If 2 is the number which is being encountered as the parameter by this A array, right? If 2 is a number, then I'll return 2 multiplied by 2, that is 4. Like this is the basic functionality of square. This is what square function is. Now I want to map my B, right? My another array B. What will I do is I'll simply say uh, pick up the array over which you want to do the mapping. I want to do the mapping using my array A, right? I want to map using my array A. This is my using array. Like I want to map all the elements according to my usage of array. My usage array is array A, and after that simply pass a callback function inside the map function, right? I want to square it, right? So I'll simply pass a callback function of square here, and after that what will happen is this a dot map, that all the elements which are present inside my a array, that is 1 2 3 4 5 6 till 9, these all will be mapped to one more array which will be pointing towards this array b, and the answer will be dependent on that callback function, whatever you have called back inside it. So let's assume you are creating a square. Let's assume we are making this a cube as well, right? We are making a function of cube as well. Or let's assume I am like making a function of I I'll be making a function of square root, right? So I have a method present with me, math dot sqrt, right? Sqrt is the function. I have math dot sqrt function with me. What will it do is it will directly uh, tell me the output, like wait, I need to change the name of the functions, right? This is my cube. This is my root. I'm changing the, like, I'm making different functionality so that I can see the different outputs, right? So I have like simply uh, assigned my map to this, and if I want to see like what all are there inside my uh, different arrays, right? So I can simply console.log a and console log of, let's say, my b. Let's see this inside my okay, first of all, tell me, I have written everything, right? What would be the output according to you guys? Almost I have explained everything. Just type in the chat box what will be the possible output. The last part. What is the last part? Oh, so the message was little time ago. Alankar, you said please repeat, sir. What do you want me to repeat? Square of each element. Okay, great, Abhishek. Uh, please repeat, sir, the last part. Alankar, which part you want me to repeat? Got it. Okay, you got it. Great, great, great. So Abhishek is saying that we'll get a square of each the element. What about others? What about others are saying according to the code and the functionality which I've written right now? I have written three functions, but I am mapping it with one of the functions amongst them, right? So one of the callback function is being sent. So what will be the possible outputs in both the cases, right? What will be the possible outputs? It will be written 1, 2, 3, 5, 6. Great, man. Great. Really amazing. Really amazing. So let's do one thing. Uh, let's simply have I attached my app.js. Then yes, I have attached my app.js. So I guess it should not be of a great problem. Right, I'll simply run it. I'll simply see. Then I'm getting two arrays of 9 elements each. So inside my first array, indexing, let's ignore the indexing. Then yes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 are being stored. And oh, sorry, not this prototype. And if I'll just open up my second array, then I am like getting all the squares of my number which were present inside of my array A as the output of my array B, right? So this is what I'll be getting because of this function. But what if I uh, do the same thing with different, I would say, uh, different variables, right? Instead of square, what I'll do, I'll be giving it a cube as a function, callback function, and I'll be getting sqrt as a function. Like I made it root. Sorry, really sorry. I made it root as a function, and I'll be consoling out. I'll be consoling out C as well as my D inside it, right? Let's see what will happen. Then if you see it properly, then we are getting four arrays because of course we have consoled four things. One is a basic 1 to 9 elements, and after that, second output was square of the numbers. The third output is basically the callback function which we sent. We sent cube ka callback function, and inside my fourth callback, I used this. I made the use of this math dot square root method which is present available inside our math methods, right? So I made use of it. Then I'm getting the output of every square of the number of this initial A array. But let's assume what I want to do is I don't want this square root to happen inside my A. I want this to happen inside my B so that I can get back the same array which I initially made A and then squared it. And I'll be using square, uh, if I'll be using square numbers, and if I'll like root it, then I'll be getting back my same array A, right? So let's see. Then yes, this fourth functionality is showing me again the number from 1 to 9, right? Is it clear to you all that why Rahul is sending me this? At time 6:40 prior, right? Okay, no worries. Like great, man. You guys are understanding first line array ka second line square of elements. Great, great, Mohit. Pretty great. So is it clear to you guys that how we are using this map function, right? Is it clear? We are simply sending making a function, and the name of the function is basically sent as a callback there. So this is basically how we make use of the map function, and now it is like one of the important methods. So of course read it with MTN and try 2 to 3 examples on your own. Why MTN, right? 2 to 3 examples, try why MTN on your own. And things are clear till here. Please just let me know. Yes, sir, it is clear. Yes, sir, clear. Great, great, Amisha, great, Abhay. Great, man. So we are like switching to the next array method. The next array method which is present with us is the filter method. Let's do one thing. Let's make it a bit interesting. Not like I am through today, but of course we'll try to make things a little interesting. Let's assume in this case, but okay, I'll explain you first, then we'll explain it in a better detailed way, right? Uh, I'm simply commenting out this entire functionality, and I'll be simply saving it as uh, map method, right? Map method. Second thing which we'll be talking about is uh, filter method, right? Filter method. Okay. So what this filter method will do and how we can basically make use of it. Let's see with an example first, then we'll if the things want to be a little more clear, then we'll go with a very pretty great example with us, right? So okay, basically again, I'm doing is I'm making an array. Let me copy it from the top itself. I'll copy it from the top itself. I made an array, I copy pasted it. Okay, I have A as an array with me. Let's say I know amongst these numbers, I have some odd numbers, I have some even numbers. So what I'll be doing is I'll be making a function. Let's say my number is odd, right? I want my number, I want the function to be named as is odd, right? How can I check that? Okay, this number is odd or is this number even, right? So I'll simply give it a condition check that yes, if my num, like okay, this odd will be accepting some parameters, right? I'll be giving it a parameter of num. And what will be num? Num will be the different values which will be, like I would say, which will be shown or which will be encountered inside this function once I'll be using a callback, right? Let's just focus it right now. Let's assume I'm getting num as a as parameter. Okay, then if num, the value of num modulus 2 is equal to 0, right? If any number is equal to like gets a remainder of 0, then that number is basically an even number. So I would say return false. This is not my, I would say, my odd number, yeah. So this is my even number, right? If this does not happen, then sorry, this has to be true. If this does not happen, then simply return true. This is the function in which I can get my odd even numbers. Now what I want to do is I want to bifurcate all my odd numbers, or let's say I want to bifurcate all my even numbers. How can I do it? I'll simply make use of my filter method. Okay. How can I use it? I'll simply save it as my let's say output. What output will I be getting? I'm simply made a variable. I'll use the array over which I want to implement my function. I want to implement it over my A array. I'll be using a method filter, and inside filter, of course, I'll be sending this callback function. Okay, I save this callback function. Now, what will be the possible values? I'll just I won't waste much of the time. I'll simply go and make you guys see that. Uh, I not consoled it anywhere. Okay, console.log of output. Let's see what all we get inside the output as well as what all we'll be getting inside my A, right? Let's see and check this out. So inside my A, I'm getting all my numbers because yes, of course, I've assigned the value there and there's no manipulation done just like the function. But inside my second array, that is my array output, I'm only getting the odd values. How I'm getting the odd values? I'm basically using this callback function. I'm only getting the odd values because I've simply attached a callback function and a filter. This filter will basically filter out all the important answers and basically filter out all the answers which are returned as a value of true. They'll only be encountered and saved inside my
inside my second array over which I've been assigned the answers, right? If this is not clear, I know this is a bit confusing that why only five, six answers just coming. So we'll take a little small example of, let's assume I am having a menu system, right? Inside my menu system, what I can have is I can have different menu stuffs, right? Sorry, not this. This is because this is for the uh, object, right? So inside my let's say menu, I can have paneer. I can have let's say chicken tadka. I have egg burji. I'm just making random examples so that I can show you that how this filter function can be useful in your day-to-day life as well. I can have egg omelette, right? Ignore the spellings if they are wrong. I'm just explaining it right now. And let's say I have one more chicken, uh, chicken chili, and let's say I have veg veg rice. I have बिरयानी तो नहीं बोलूंगा, चिकन बिरयानी बोल देता हूँ, राइट? आई वुड से चिकन बिरयानी एंड एनी मोर सजेशंस किसी को लगता है कि कुछ ऐड ऑन कर दें हमारे मेन्यू में, राइट? लेट्स मेक इट garlic bread. Let's make it like, let's make it garlic bread. Okay, I guess these are enough just for understanding purpose. Like I have basically an array which is consisting of different kind of like I would say dishes which are present with me. Now what I want to do is I just want to filter out, like I'm a vegetarian. Just for example, I'm assume a person who is going to the hotel, he's a vegetarian. So he want to just filter out all the veg menus only, right? The menu is written like one after the other, but he just want to filter out only the veg menu. Then what practice he or she can do is he or she can make a function, right? How this function will be made. Let's say let veg menu, right? Of course we'll be like assigning something to it, right? Is like what over which you want your functions to perform, right? I want the menu to be like, I would say filter, show me a filter over which only the veg item is there, right? So I'll be making a callback function named as is veg. Okay, if this things available with us is veg, then filter it out. And okay, just tell me the veg output and I'll simply be consoling it out as my answer. Then I can console out my veg menu, right? But now I need to write the function of it, right? How can I write the function? Just like try to be with me with this, right? So let's assume inside my veg menu I'll be making a function, right? Okay, first of all, this is the basic template of the function, right? Is veg. This is the basic template. Now this is a veg will be like having some uh, parameters in it, or like be having something like anything which will be provided. So let's assume I'm taking it as food right now. Which food is being provided with it, like names and all this stuff, right? So food will be provided. So I will say if the food which I'm getting as a parameter is like uh, there. So what I'll do is I'll simply find its index of, like index of, if the index of the word chicken inside it, right? Index of the word uh, chicken, chicken inside is there, right? If the chicken is there, that is which is not equal to let's say -1. If thing is not equal to -1, then it is there. If the food which I am getting, and then I'm making a condition that if the chicken word or the index of it is being present inside my element of that food, right? Then along with that, if the same thing happens with the egg, if egg is also like if egg part is also being like shown to you guys, right? If let's just copy paste this stuff, if this or this food dot index of, I'll this time change the index that I think that if egg is available with us, uh egg omelette is there, right? If egg is available there, that is which is not equal to -1, then you'll simply what you'll do, you'll simply simply return false. If this is minus, then it is basically present, right? Then you will simply return false. If it is not present, then you will simply return true, right? This will simply return true, but I guess this is enough for my veg menu. True is there, false is there. Chicken अगर है तो -1 में false आएगा. If egg is there तो -1 में false आएगा. ठीक है, both things are doing great. Okay, now is veg. Let's try to see that is my code working or not. Then see, all oh chicken tadka is coming. See, oh, the spelling is wrong, right? CHECKEN है. So let's do one thing. Let's change the spelling here so that it won't show us chicken tadka. Then what I've done is, see, basically I've filtered out all the veg menu. How am I filtering out? I've basically got all the veg items which are there. If chicken word is being written there or egg word is being written there, then you will simply return it at false. So what filter will do? Filter will not hold the false values. It will only hold the true values where all the wherein well, wherever the like this indexing the of the menu, right? If this is indexing 0, 1, 2, each index will go inside this function. So in whatever index it is shown the value of true, then it filters it out and saves for your usage and saves for your purpose, right? uh, this is clear to you guys. Like now you've got to know what is stress samosa. Oh, so you guys were helping me with this, right? Great, man. You can like make a good, I would say, a good restaurant list of your own. Okay, let's give you a small homework again as well. That will
तो
be
वो एक बार -1 वाला लॉजिक बता देना दोबारा.
okay. Okay, okay. Let me do one thing. I'll simply uh copy this line. Okay, I'll be copying this line and I'll be pasting it here. So what is written? Food. This food is basically जो हम argument parameters वाली चीज pass कर रहे हैं. Food is being passed. So this is basically 0, 1, 2, 3. All the indexes which will the array over the array function I'm using filter, right? So all the indexes which is present inside my array function, they'll be coming one after the other. Let's assume initially I got paneer, right? I got paneer. Uh, Makhani. I got paneer makhani. Let's assume I got paneer makhani as my first, and then I got chicken, and then I got chicken biryani, right? Chicken biryani, right? Okay. So what I'm doing is food encounter this argument or parameter, whatever you want to say, encounter this and check index of. This index of function either returns like okay, this uh, this string whatever you are trying to parse, either this string is present inside your uh, I would say your parameter or it is not. If it is present, like if it is present, then it will show you one. If it is not present, then it will show you, oh sorry, if it is present, then it will show you the index over which it is present, right? The index over which it is present. The starting index of C, like chicken ka C of a starting index will be printed, right? This we have discussed in the earlier classes as well of index of ka kya basically matlab hai. If you are finding it difficult, then try and check it out the meaning of index of. So let's assume this chicken is like, at worst case 0 is the possibility, 0 is the possible index which will be coming, right? So I've given it a criteria if any number will be visible except of -1. Like let's assume I'm again wiping it off for your betterment. So at the worst condition, what you will get from here is 0 and above values because indexing can never be negative, right? So 0 and above, right? So if chicken is present, then if it is present, then it will show me 0, 1, 2, any random value, which will not be equal to -1, of course, right? I have given if any index which you are getting as an answer is not equal to -1. If let's assume I'm getting chicken at fourth index. It is of course not equal to -1. Then this condition becomes true. This is my or, right? This is my or. If this gets true or this gets true, if any of them gets true, as far as we are concerned about, as far as we are aware about any one output, as far as we are aware about, okay, if one is true, irrespective whatever it be, the answer will ultimately be going to be true, then this next operation will not take place, right? This I told you in the earlier classes, right? So this gave me true, but let's assume assume there is a possibility that this would have given me false, right? So this will check the or functionality as well, and according to this true and false, this manipulation will take place. And if it is true, then it will be filtered out, and if it is not true, then it will not be filtered out, right? Now is it clear? This index of basically returns the position at which this chicken का first element, like जिस भी string को तुम find कर रहे हो उसका first element का index it gives, right? एक बार empty and pressure, how to avoid case sensitive behavior. Okay, so case sensitive behavior को if you want to avoid, do one thing. Each and every, let's assume what we can do is uh, um, let's like capitalize all the letters which I'm having in front of me, right? So what I'll do is either I'll convert it to uppercase, to upper case, right, to uppercase, and then I can use index of, right? So I'll be basically converting all the elements to lowercase or uppercase, whatever you want to do it, uppercase, lowercase, like that totally depends on yours. So this is how you can like avoid the sensitivity of uh, right, the numbers, right? Just simply convert it in uppercase and lowercase, right?
सर -1 डिनोट कर रहा है कि वो प्रेजेंट नहीं है, मतलब
नहीं
फॉल्स
है, right,
कंडीशन है। तो
right.
सर वहाँ पे
So
हमने फिर फॉल्स क्यों लिखा है? हमें ट्रू नहीं करना चाहिए क्योंकि हम चेक तो कर रहे हैं कि ट्रू
नॉट
वैल्यू है।
इक्वल टू नहीं, नॉट इक्वल टू -1। अगर हम इक्वल टू -1 करते तो इसका मतलब वो नहीं प्रेजेंट। अगर वो नहीं प्रेजेंट तब हम ट्रू करते हैं। अगर हम इसको चिकन इक्वल टू -1 करें ना तो हम ट्रू करेंगे। अगर हम नॉट इक्वल टू के बराबर चेक करें तो हम फॉल्स करें। एक बार इसको एक बार टेक 1 or 2 minutes, आई एम रिमूविंग द स्टफ। इसको एक बार समझो क्योंकि ये नॉट इक्वल टू है ना कि इक्वल टू। नॉट अ बिग थिंग, बस उसका ऑपोजिट ही तो एक्ट हो रहा है। अगर इक्वल टू चल रहा है तो उसका नॉट इक्वल टू में ऑपोजिट आंसर आ जाएगा, दैट्स इट।
ओके सर। सर इसमें भी जैसे वो इसमें अगर हम सिंगल इक्वल्स टू लगाएं, जैसे आपने यहाँ पे डबल किया है, तो
हाँ,
उससे
दिस
क्या?
इज स्ट्रिक्ट इक्वालिटी कर दी है मैंने। अगर हटा देंगे तो भी कुछ खास फर्क नहीं पड़ेगा। दिस इज द बेटर वर्जन, राइट? अगर मैं ये हटा दूंगा तो भी कुछ फर्क नहीं पड़ेगा। आई विल बी गेटिंग ऑल द वेट, हाउ आई एम गेटिंग दिस।
इसमें यस सर, यही डाउट यही।
जस्ट अ सेकंड ना, इस फोर डॉट अपर केस वाली चीज को मैं एक बार यहाँ से हटा रहा हूँ। लेट मी जस्ट come back to my original string. If I'll save it, is not equal to, let's check it out here. नहीं, it is coming here. This was because of वो upper case वाला डाल दिया था ना मैंने, तो उसके चक्कर में proper implementation नहीं हुई। It is coming, right? यही था ना आपका question? It is coming.
यस सर।
हाँ, तो it is coming। एक बार ना मतलब जो हम sensitivity वाली चीज कर रहे हैं, मतलब take 5-7 minutes, Google it out, but this two lower case and this two upper case ना will help you out in this। ठीक है, सॉर्टेड। मतलब इसमें अगर मैं आपको छोटा सा होमवर्क देना चाहूँ, like if you guys want a small homework kind of stuff, do one thing, make a menu app just with like JavaScript implementation। कुछ ज्यादा बड़ा फेस बनाने की जरूरत नहीं है। like at least add 40 items to it, जिसमें we will be having chicken items, we will be having egg items, we will be having pure veg items, we will be having Jan items, that is वो onion and all वाली stuff, right? Onion and garlic वाली stuff. So make functions, like make 4 different functions कि if a person wants to go for like check out for chicken, then chicken के लिए क्या will be the implementation functions। Make 4 different functions and apply it and apply them here, right? Question and homework is clear, right? You basically need to make a food menu app only, जिसमें you will be having let's assume 40 items। That totally depends on you, like 40 is just a estimate number। I'm not strict towards numbers, but उसके अंदर your chicken, your egg, your veg and your jam, all the functionalities should be like should be done। along with that, try for case sensitivity as well, like try for case sensitivity as well। case sensitivity के लिए you can like refer the two uppercase two lowercase just for the basic implementation। बाकी if you get find some other way, then that's well and good। try case sensitivity as well। homework is clear to everyone, right? homework is that समझ आ गया कि अब तक क्या चल रहा है? ठीक है, homework is clear। हाँ एग्जैक्टली ऋतिक रस्तोगी नहीं, विशेष इज आंसरिंग टू ऋतिक रस्तोगी की कन्वर्ट ऑल द थिंग्स टू लोअर केस एंड व्हाट इज रिटन आफ्टर अप्लाई, एक सेकेंड, apply them, sorry, I'll just rewrite it, apply them, right, simply apply them, ठीक है, simply apply them, right, चलेगा, ये चीज समझ आ गई सबको, सॉर्टेड है ये चीज. Okay, so I guess this is like okay for filter method. Like this is more than sufficient. अगर तुम ये चीज कर लोगे तो फिल्टर के बारे में get to know. Sort का मैं तुम्हें बस एक बेसिक वो बता देता हूँ कि ये भी सेम तरीके से काम करेगा. But by default इसका behavior is like by default sort works ना lexicographically in case of let's assume if I'm sort को generally हम सिर्फ यूज करते हैं numbers के लिए, तो sort works lexicographically. व्हाट इज लेक्सोग्राफिकली एक बार मैं थोड़ा सा बता देता हूँ लेक्सोग्राफिकली, और उसका ना सॉर्ट के बारे में प्लीज थोड़ा सा आप लोग एमटीएन से पढ़ लेना. नॉट दैट इम्पोर्टेंट बट एक छोटी सी चीज थी विच आई थिंक यू शुड नो कि लेक्सोग्राफिकली क्या होता है. फॉर एग्जाम्पल मैं सॉर्ट कर रहा हूँ राइट, बाय डिफॉल्ट वो इंक्रीजिंग ऑर्डर में ना सॉर्ट कर देगा. जैसे जो मेरे पास एक एरे है जिसमें है 1 4 3 -4 33 41 43 7 9 and 81 and 8 राइट. लास्ट वाला हटा देता हूँ. uh, ठीक है, लास्ट वाला आई एम रिमूविंग, लास्ट वाला आई एम रिमूविंग, आई एम हैविंग these are my uh, elements present inside my array, comma separated है तो okay, no worries, adding right. तो अगर मैं अपना इनबिल्ट सॉर्ट फंक्शन यूज करूंगा ना, इनबिल्ट सॉर्ट फंक्शन लेट्स अज्यूम अगर मेरा एरे है, इस एरे पे इनबिल्ट सॉर्ट फंक्शन यूज करने पे इट विल सिंपली शो मी द आउटपुट इन लेक्सोग्राफिकल ऑर्डर. दैट इज इफ थिंग्स आर लेक्सोग्राफिकली सॉर्टेड तो उसका आंसर किस हिसाब से होगा वो अब हम देखते हैं. तो ये ना सिर्फ पहले पहले इंडेक्स को चेक करता है. सबसे पहले इसको दिखेगा कि सबसे छोटा नंबर तो -4 है, -4 लिख देगा. उसके बाद ये देखेगा कि जीरो या माइनस में कोई और नंबर तो नहीं है, नहीं है, ठीक है, जीरो है, वन है, टू है, नहीं है, थ्री है, सॉरी जीरो है, नहीं है, वन है. तो ये क्या करेगा, इसने पहले यहाँ का वन देख लिया राइट, तो ये 11 को यहाँ लिख देगा. उसके बाद ये चेक करेगा क्या टू है या वन के कोरिस्पॉन्डिंग और भी कोई नंबर हुआ, जैसे जो अगर वन 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 होता तो यहाँ पे वन 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 लिख देता. एंड उसके बाद ये थ्री को एनकाउंटर करता. एंड अब इसको वैसे फोर को करना चाहिए बट जस्ट बिकॉज हमारे पास 33 भी है तो ये थ्री को एनकाउंटर कर लेगा राइट. सो दिस इज व्हाट लेक्सोग्राफिकली मींस. जैसे डिक्शनरी में होता है ना वैसा इज बेसिकली लेक्सोग्राफिक. तो इसको ना दिस प्रॉब्लम को वी कैन रिजॉल्व. मतलब जैसे अब ये प्रॉब्लम है, मतलब दिस इज नॉट वी आर गेटिंग प्रॉब्लम का प्रॉपर सॉल्यूशन नहीं दे पा रहे ना, इसको हम रिजॉल्व कर सकते हैं एक कंपैरेटर फंक्शन के साथ राइट. इसके बारे में भी छोटा सा पढ़ लेना, जिसको डीएस से आता है उसने एक बार जरूर पढ़ा होगा. कंपैरेटर फंक्शन बेसिकली एक नाम की चीज होती है. तो इस प्रॉब्लम को रिजॉल्व करने के लिए वी यूज कंपैरेटर फंक्शन. कंपैरेटर फंक्शन को यूज करते हैं राइट. तो ये भी आपका एक छोटा सा होमवर्क है, आई गेव यू बेसिक जस्ट कि आप कहाँ पे फंसोगे या क्या प्रॉब्लम ये क्रिएट करता है. तो सॉर्ट के बारे में एक बार आप लोग पढ़ना जरूर, ठीक है. सॉर्ट तक एक बार आप चीजें क्लियर कर लो. एंड लाइक लेट्स टेक अ ब्रेक ऑफ 2 मिनट्स. आई गेस यहाँ तक किसी को कोई खास दिक्कत नहीं है. अब आगे एक छोटा सा टॉपिक स्विच होने वाला है इसलिए आई एम टेकिंग 2 3 मिनट्स का ब्रेक, फिर हम फिर से एक बार ना कंटिन्यू करेंगे, ठीक है. डिक्शनरी ऑर्डर बिल्कुल सही विशेष. अभी लेक्सोग्राफिकली लाइक जैसे आपने डिक्शनरी में बताया था मैंने, तो दैट इज सेम एज दैट ऑफ डिक्शनरी ऑर्डर. ग्रेट विशेष, ग्रेट. So okay, let's take a break of like a maximum of 4 5 minutes. I'll have a sip of warm water and 2 3 minute relax करके I'll be coming back. Right? Great. Okay, let's wait for 3 4 5 minutes. Right? Cool. चलो ठीक है आई गेस वी आर गुड टू स्टार्ट अगेन। अच्छा एक बात बताओ, तुम लोगों की 7:45 पे कौन सी क्लासेस है? लाइक किसी ने बोला था ना 7:45 पे क्लास है। कौन सी क्लास थी 7:45 पे? किसी ने बताया था ना, लाइक someone told me about leaving at 7:45। कॉन्टेस्ट्स होते हैं, कॉन्टेस्ट ऑफ which contest कुशाग? सात से कोडिंग से, अच्छा सात से कोडिंग, कोडिंग की कैन यू जस्ट हेल्प मी कौन सी? अच्छा तो आप अलग से कुछ कोडिंग में कर रहे हो, कोड फोर्सेस एंड कॉन्टेस्ट, अच्छा अच्छा कोडिंग में, अच्छा सही सही। चलो ठीक है, लाइक अगर होगा तो विल ट्राई टू सॉर्ट आउट कि जल्दी करते हैं, बट इफ नीड पड़ी तो वी कैन स्ट्रेच फॉर 10-15 मिनट्स थोड़ा। सीपी की ठीक है, बढ़िया, गुड यार अभिषेक, वेरी गुड। अच्छा तो ठीक है, ग्रेट। नेक्स्ट टॉपिक जो हम स्टार्ट कर सकते हैं इज लाइक, ओके थोड़ा डिफरेंट टॉपिक है, लेट्स मेक अ मार्क लाइक दिस। प्रोटोटाइप्स के बारे में पढ़ने वाला है। व्हाट इज प्रोटोटाइप्स, व्हाट आर प्रोटोटाइप्स, राइट? So now we'll be starting about prototypes, and again as usual we'll be like giving it the hands-on stuff as well as the definition, but you definitely need to like refer MDN for that matter. So we'll start it. So what prototypes basically are, I would say the prototypes are basically a mechanism by which we are able to like make the other object inherit the property of some other object which is being priorly made. Just understand after I'm writing this, right? A mechanism uh, by which the mechanism by which our object, I would say, all objects, I would say all objects, okay, all objects can inherit the property of another object. Like all की जगह I can simply like the object can inherit. This can confuse, right? Inherit the properties of another object. I know ऐसे इतना clear नहीं होगा. First of all, let's go to MDN. MDN prototypes. MDN prototypes. Object prototypes are there. So of course you guys need to like refer this prototyping chain and tender proto stuff देखेंगे हम, but of course तुम्हें एक बार इसको अलग resources से भी देखना, because this is a really important and huge topic. So I'll be giving you a glimpse की how things will take place here and how things will be made, right? So do refer MDN or WC schools for prototype at least. It is like some good stuffs are available, some good resources are available for it, right? So prototypes were this way. Let's do one thing. Let's simply start the implementation this way, like how we are able to see it. So I'm making one more folder. I'll say prototypes. After prototypes, I'll be making a index.html. And after that, I'll be making app.js, right? App.js inside my this and prototypes inside my scr file. I'll be writing app.js. Okay, great, great. App.js के अंदर I'll be writing. So let's assume अभी I'm writing a function, not a function. Let's make it simple. I'm making an array. Like let array is equal to, my array is having, let's say, 6 elements in it. Right? I have an array. Right. So I can use my pop and push methods here. I can use my array dot pop, right? And if I have like implemented my array dot pop, then I'll simply console dot log my ARR. Let's see what happens. Oh, is it a comma? Like okay, my ARR. Let's see what happens. Like so, if I'll go and check this out, expect it, then I can see now my array is only having 5 elements. Let's see it in a better way. Let's console.log it. Sorry, let's console.log it and switch the position. not here, here, before popping, right? Let's see. Initially, we were having 6 elements, and after popping the element once, last element which was encountered uh, will be like removed out to the stack. Now, I have not defined any of the pop method. I have not. I can also push in the elements like array dot push. Let's assume I want to push some string in it. I want to push a mango, right? I can push it this way. Now, if we'll see, now this 6 is being like popped out, and then after using again this push function, I'm able to add on my functionality, add on my arrays. How is it possible? I'm using this pop and push function. Have I declared them anywhere? Have I made any pop function? Have I made any push function? No, I have not made any of the push function. I am basically able to use them because of this inheritance stuff, right? So in a better way to understand prototypes in a better way, so I would say this is basically inheritance, right? This is basically inheritance. Now, what is inheritance? Like taking the I would say from the parents you can access the like properties and all like this inheritance. If you have any doubt, then MTN, of course, Google or MTN. So basically, this prototype is, I would say, a better reference is like inheritance. So what we'll do is it will like okay, let's see one more example so that this inheritance stuff will be clear to you. Right. So this is basically the test. How can you inherit the properties and how we are inheriting the properties. So now what we'll do, I'll be making a object, right? I gave it a definition that by which object can inherit the property of another object, right? So I'll be making one self-made object. Let's assume my object is let's say const person. It can be that, right? I'll be writing few properties. What are properties? They are key value pairs. I'll be writing it as Samarth, or let's change the name here. I'll not use my name. I'll be writing Karthik, and sorry, after this, I'll be writing one more property. Let's say it is equal to 28. After that, I'll be like, I can write a function here as well, right? Say hello. I can write this say hello as a function, and I can evenly like even write this function here as well inside my uh, inside a property, right? So I'll simply write console.log hello from Karthik. Okay, I'll simply be uh, doing it this way. Okay. Hello from Karthik. Hello to everyone. Believe it. To everyone. Great. So what I'm having key value pairs inside my object. So what I'll do, this is how I can I can make an object, right? If I want to access this person, I can easily see the person is there. If I want to access person dot age, then I can get 28. If I want to access person dot name, I can see this. If I want to access person dot function का नाम क्या था say hello ना function dot hello, then I can get the entire function there, right? I can access it. But what if I want to make one more function and I'll be taking help of this function, and I'll be like trying to inherit the properties of it, right? So I can make one more object. Like let's assume my another object is p1. I want to make object, right? So this is how I can create an object, right? So this is the command that object dot create. Object dot create will ask you to give it an argument. Now, what will be the argument जो तुम दोगे that you'll be giving, right? So that argument will be the reference or the other object over which you want the properties or from which you want to inherit the properties, right? So यहाँ पर तुम simply give it person. Let's assume हमारे पास एक और होता person 1 and person 2 हम कर लेते, right? person 1 and person 2 for better understanding. If I give it a reference of person 1, जिसमें Karthik, age 288, from everyone, I'm like expanding everything. Rest of the things are same, right? So अगर मैं P1 से inherit करता, object dot create करता, sorry, object create करता using this as a reference or this as a blueprint, and then P1 will be created, right? So let's save it and see. If I'll add P1, so this will show me an empty. Of course, I've not initiated anything. So, but if I'll go for P1 dot name now, then I'm getting Karthik without extra case. So how I'm getting Karthik, because I'm taking the reference of my P1 object rather than taking reference of my P2. What I'll simply do is I'll simply uh, take the reference of P2 and comment this out. Then now see, let's see how will this take place. Again, this P1 will be empty because I've not added on anything, but P1 dot name will show me Karthik with many different keys, right? So this is how you can basically create an object using like the other object as a reference, or maybe this using this as a blueprint for them in a layman language using a blueprint. Okay, now what I want to do is I want to like simply make use of this p1 dot say hello, right? P1 dot say hello. Will I be getting anything? Like let's say will I be getting anything? Here, hello from Karthik to everyone with different ease. Why I'm getting it with different ease? Because now this P1 is like made using this person 2 as a reference or person 2 as an object. So all the properties which are written inside my object person 2, all these properties will be inherited. This is basically all the properties will be prototyped, or maybe I would say inherited is the right word. So inherited, and we can use it in our way, or you can use it as ourselves. So this is basically what I would say this uh, prototype is. Basically this is what prototype is, right? You can inherit the properties, right? If uh, I'll comment everything, that's why I've uncommented. So let's see a small thing of it. Like we have a denter proto in it. What is denter proto? I'll write it there as well. Denter proto is the name. Denter proto. I'll write it there as well. uh by combine of ठीक है, inheritance and refer empty. Of course, to refer empty, I just gave you a basic example. Try to figure it out that what exactly prototype things will help you out with, and how you can make use of it efficiently, right? So now I'm talking a small topic that is inside the prototypes only, of course. Tender proto, right? Tender. What this tender proto is, let's say tender proto. Okay, firstly we'll start with the definition, of course. Tender proto is, I would say, is like a reference. This is a reference to the parent object, right? A reference to the parent object, like parent object. So according to the definition of Dender Proto, it is a reference to the parent object. So what I'll do is I'll simply go to Dender Proto mtn, and if I go, then market different thing I so just read it out once. I just gave you a basic definition, right? Just read it out once as well from your end, right? So these are basically deprecated. It is showing me photo is being deprecated, but we'll just understand it once. But I guess they'll ask you not to use it in the functionalities. It will be like working properly, but you should not use it because these are deprecated. But okay, we need to know the functionality. We need to know the meaning. So that's why we are I would say studying it, right? So let's understand it with a small example, right? Abhi initially, what we did, we made person one object and person two object, right? We made two objects, person one, person two. I created a P1 object, uh, created a P1 object using this P1, and I can also create a P2 object using P1 as my reference. See, what I can do is, if I just uncomment it again, if I'll uncomment it again, I'll do it this way, that I'm using P1 as my reference. I'm using this way, then I'm commenting this, right? I can create even P2 with the help of this. So if I go with P1, it will be empty. If I go with P2, it will be empty. This means, okay, the contents is being created. But if you go for P2 dot name, right, it will be Karthik without extra case. How? Because this P2 is being created as a reference to object P1, and this P1 is here with me. This P1 is created with the reference to object P person 1, and this person 1 is this object. So this object is having only Karthik inside it, not with extra case. So that's why I'm able to like do the chaining kind of stuff, right? So similarly, I can make a chain like this, like P3, P4, whatever I want. So what tender proto means is, like, this is basically called proto chaining, right? Prototype chaining. This is called prototype. This is called prototype chaining, right? This is prototype chaining. So what tender proto means is that this P3 will be having the reference to its parent object, and this P2 will be having reference to its P1 object, and this P1 will be having reference to its P person one object, right? So this is what tender basically, I would say, stands for, and this is what tender, I would say, is like there. So we can also check it out with a small command, right? I I'm writing it here only, right? I'm writing it here only. See, I've made object P1, I've made object P2, and I've used person one, and now I've made P1. I've made P2 using P1. I've made P1 using person one, right? Don't get confused. I'm just writing a small thing. Uh, Ignore it for a sec. Then I'll let you know. As on property, I'm checking for the property name. Let's say name. P1 has its own. See, there is a pre-written function like okay, again, this is because of prototyping, right? I have a function which tells that does this object which we have created is having his or is having its own property or not. If it is having own property, that is, it is being created like person one object or person two object, then it will show me true. But in the case of P1, it was being inherited with person one. That's why it is showing me false. But if I say person one, right? Person one has own property name, then it is showing me true. Similarly, if I go for P2 instead of P1, that is my P2 having the property name of its own, then it is not having, right? So this was just to show you that, okay, this is telling where is the origin from where this person one is coming. Yes, so this person one is having the name attribute in it that is his or her own, like its own property, not his or her, its own property, right? Ignore this. Just for like I'll just comment it out so that you can try it from your end as well. I'll simply comment it up here just in case you want to try it in future, right? So now what I want to share is like, okay, see it properly. Like I said that this tender proto means that I'm having reference to my parent route. Now how can I see it? I'll simply use my P1 that I want to check that is it referring to my parent or not. So what I'll do, I'll write double underscore. Like this is one underscore again, one time underscore and one more time underscore. Two time underscore and I'll write the word proto and again two times more underscore. So if I know that a thing that it is referring me to my parent, then uh, P1 is originated from person one. So if I'll write that this P1 dot proto is equal to that person one, right? P1 dot proto is equal to from person one. So what will show me? It is showing me true that yes, the dender proto that is a reference to my P1 object is because of or is equal to my person one. If I like use triple equality, then also it will show me the same thing, right? Inside my triple equality also it'll show me the same thing, right? Okay, so again if I want to check it for like let's say P1, is it same for my P1? No, I'm not getting like not being referring my P1 object from again my P1 object only. I'm referring it to person one. But let's say if I'm talking about my P2, then am I getting it with P1? Then yes, I am able to get it with P1. But if I check it with person one, then am I getting it with person one? No, I'm not getting it with person because that is parent ka bhi parent. It is not the immediate parent, it is the parent ka bhi parent, right? So this is how we basically can check things. Okay, so you guys must be like in a dilemma, or I would say you guys must be like aware or sometimes unaware that how this person one is being created, right? There must be some like I would say a parent reference to the person one as well. So we can check it this way. Everything like see everything, every object or every prototype which is created inside our JavaScript is being created by object prototype, right? So if I check that is my reference variable to the parent is equal to my object uh sorry object prototype, object dot prototype, where is it, object dot prototype, right? If I want to check it, let's see, then it is saying yes, the person one object which was created, like this was the original object which we created, is the reference to it equal to the object prototype, then it is showing me yes, it is equal to the object prototype. Now again the question arises, then what is the object proto sorry what is the proto tender proto of your object dot prototype, right? So if I want to check for the object dot prototype, it will show me null. Oh, not equal to, right? If I'll simply write it this way, prototype object dot prototype. Okay, I need to check for the dender proto as well, right? Object dot prototype dender proto, right? Dender proto, then it is showing me null, that I am getting the reference of this object without prototype from the null, and this person one proto, that is reference to person dot proto, is from my object prototype. This p1 is getting reference from my person one. This p2 is getting reference from my person. Sorry, p1. P2 is getting reference from my p1. If I try to make it a little easy, I'll simply do it like here. Initially, I have null. The ultimate thing is null. But all the objects which are being created, all the prototypes which are created because of this object dot prototype. Object dot prototype. Object dot prototype. Then we just know we made a person one object. Inside this, we made person one object. Inside person, we made p1. Now we made p2. This means that my p2 is having reference of p1. P1 is having reference of person one. Person one is having reference of object prototype, and object prototype is having reference of null. And I just said that everything, or like whatever we are making inside our JavaScript, is because of my object prototype. So our object prototype will also point towards different prototypes. That is, if you want to create a string, then string dot prototype is like prototype is made by this object prototype. Like for example, you want to check for boolean, then boolean dot prototype is also originated from your object prototype. And after that, we can, of course, we have strings and all stuffs. And here I can also say that inside my boolean I have like true false wali cheeze, like true false wali cheeze, right? And inside my, I can also have this array prototype. I can make array will be created using this array prototype, array dot prototype. It will be showing my values of all the arrays. Let's assume this is my array, like all the arrays will be created. So every prototype is originated, and even the object is originated from the object dot prototype. And what is the reference to object dot prototype? The reference to object dot prototype is basically the null, right? So object is there, boolean is there. We can also have arrays there, and functions. Yeah, we also create functions, right? We can also have functions, function prototype, function dot prototype, pro prototype. So all the functions which we'll be creating, right? These are also originated from function prototype, and function prototype is having a reference to object dot prototype, right? Hope so. This is basic something which is clear. I'm removing this so that no confusion is there, right? Yeah. So this is a basic, I would say, the layout for the prototype, that how prototypal chain is there, and how we can see for the dender proto, and how we can check out for different things. Like if you want to see with an example, of course I'll save it first because this is important. Just for your reference, I'll save it here. You have the diagram over it, right? So just for the example, let's say I'm nothing above it, right? I'll comment this up as well. uh let's say for instance I'm making a string, right? I want to check for the string prototype. Let's say I'm making a string. Let str is equal to, what is my string? My class is learning quickly, like whatever I've read, it hardly matters. See, now what I want to check is I have this str, right? I have this str right in front of me. What is the prototype of this str? Okay, I'll just make str here, and simply I'll go for str dot uh, render proto. Is it equal to my? I just said that this str will be created with string dot prototype, right? String dot prototype. It's showing me yes. If I like do with triple equality, let's make a small change. Triple equality. Then it is showing me yes. My string which I made, it is having a reference to string dot prototype. And again, if I want to check for string dot prototype proto, then it should be equal to object dot. Right. If I do like this, then yes. my string.prototype का reference is also my object.prototype. So you can try out all the possible combinations which I told you here, that go and check it out according to your usage, according to your like I would say according to your curiosity and different stuff, right? So this is all about my prototypal chaining and prototype stuff, right? So now I want you to again do the homeworks, because uh, I think few topics I will be like expecting you to read it. I would say do the binding, right? Binding, do the binding by on your own. What is binding? Binding is basically of three types: this binding, and implicit binding, and explicit binding, right? Do this on your own. Uh, Explicit binding, right? Do this on your own. This is your homework, which is important, very important. So do refer to some videos as well. Videos, or I would say plus documentation. That is really important. Do it with a great effort. This is something which is important. And I would say after binding, most of the things are like covered in our JavaScript. I would say arrow function will be left. Also read about arrow functions, right? Arrow functions को एक बार हम पढ़ लेंगे. Why are they arrow functions and how we basically make use of them. So arrow functions को एक बार पढ़ लेना. And just for your knowledge, like four pillars of oops भी देख लेना. What are the four pillars of oops? Almost you guys would be aware. So four pillar of oops. This is just like 5 minutes. Take 5 minutes for this, not more than that, just for reading purpose. So एक बार इसको तो फॉर श्योर कर ही लेना. एंड आर फंक्शंस को भी हम एक बार डिस्कस भी वैसे कर लेंगे, बट नॉट आई वुड से अ बिग थिंग. एंड ठीक है, सेट इंटरवल, सेट टाइम आउट तो हम एक बार कर लेंगे. दैट इज समथिंग जो विच विल बी रिक्वायरिंग, राइट? सो ओके, यू गाइस आल्सो like make a read of set interval, set time out. Also I want कि तुम promises के बारे में देख लो, right? Promises is little important, हम डिस्कस करेंगे, but this you have to do on your own. This is your homework. I want you to study them. हम इनके बारे में थोड़ा सा डिटेल्ड चीजें देख लेंगे. Along with that, I guess promise तो it's okay, like asynchronous वाली चीजें हम देख ही लेंगे side by side. Okay, एक चीज और देख लेना, asynchronous programming. Asynchronous programming, asynchronous programming. And I guess by the next class we'll be winding up with a JavaScript. I guess by JavaScript, these are more than sufficient things which we want in our JavaScript, right? So your major task will be to deep dive into binding, and we'll be discussing about arrow functions because हम उसको बहुत often use करने वाले हैं. Set timeout, set interval we'll discuss about promises, and we'll discuss about asynchronous programming as well. इसके अंदर like दो चार चीजें और आएंगी, बट मैं सब कवर कर लूंगा. तो ऑफ कोर्स ये फोर पिलर्स के बारे में जस्ट फॉर योर इन्फो, सो दैट यू कैन गेट टू नो कि ये थिंग्स क्या होती हैं, चीजों को कैसे, लाइक व्हाट आर द पिलर्स, वो इनहेरिटेंस, इनकैप्सुलेशन, एब्स्ट्रैक्शन, ये सब चीजें एक बार जरूर देख लेना. फोर पिलर्स होते हैं, राइट? इंटरव्यू में पूछ सकते हैं जस्ट फॉर डेफिनेशन स्टफ, बट इतना मतलब डोंट worry much about it, right? Binding को थोड़ा सा please देख लेना. Given subtopics of binding as well, this binding, implicit binding, explicit binding, तो that is little important, तो वो चीज जरूर कर लेना for sure. तो by the next class, most probably by the next class, we'll be winding up with I would say we'll be winding up with our JavaScript part, and then we'll be like uh, using DOM and jQuery वाला stuff, DOM jQuery, and we will see उसके आगे का. DOM jQuery तो करवाना is little important, तो वो चीज पता होनी चाहिए तुम लोगों को DOM का. So we'll be making 1 or 2 projects as well by this week. I guess 3 more classes will be there. I'm not sure how many classes will be there. So if 3 more classes will be there, then we'll be winding up with the jQuery as well as we'll be winding up with the DOM. And I guess itana is more than sufficient. अगर हम wind up कर दें in 2-3 classes, that is more than sufficient. Then we can like we can see accordingly, right? So this is basically your homework, and binding is very important. Do make sure to do all these things. These are uh, very important, and since we are like heading towards the end of JavaScript, so these are we'll discuss majorly most of them, but study at your own pace as well. Of course, best reference would be MDN and W3 schools and any video for that matter. Any video you want to refer, you want to refer, you can refer. Right? So okay, I guess we are done for the day. I also want to sir, why we use another delimiter as a code is like, yeah, don't include your CP as well as your I would say different programming languages that okay, my delimiter is enter. I can change my delimiter to, let's assume, whenever I encountered $1. This is something which you should like never even think of. So don't go this way, right? I'm seriously like saying this is not your competitive programming or this is not your programming questions. These are for your functionality part. So don't go it that way. Don't take it that way. Take care, Ritik. This is like I know these are the part of like how you can change the delimiters and tell when you want your uh, like your buffer window, right? We have buffer windows like you want to take inputs, you want they're saved in the buffer memory and whatever we say. Not sure of the statement terms, but I know what you are talking about, right? So don't compare any language with JavaScript.
सर
Each
बेसिकली
language
पॉइंट होता है जैसे सेमीकोलन यूज कर रहे हैं हम तो उसके विदाउट भी हमारा कोड रन हो रहा है और यूज कर रहे
होता
हैं
है.
तब भी रन हो रहा है
देखो इसमें it depends on where you are writing your code, right? Let's assume I'm writing a function. Name of my function is fun, right? Now I want to console.log, right? Console.log simply print one, right? If I'll not use this semicolon, then it will work, right? If I'll not use this semicolon, this will work, right? I'll save and show it to you. फंक्शन को कॉल करना है, रियली सॉरी. फंक्शन को कॉल किया, राइट? सो if I'll call it, then you are getting 1 2 3 4. But what if मैं थोड़ा खुराफाती हूँ? I want all these to be like I'm like one of those जो कोड को बहुत प्रिसाइसली और बहुत छोटा छोटा लिखने की कोशिश करते हैं. मैं चाहता हूँ मेरा कोड का लेंथ एक्सपैंड ना हो और मैं इसको ऐसे वन आफ्टर द अदर कर दूं without even writing my semicolon, right? Without even writing my semicolon. Let's assume ये हमने कर दिया है, देखते हैं ये क्या हो रहा है. ये हमें वैसे एरर थ्रो कर रहा है. तो is it possible to do it this way? No, it is saying that unexpected identifier is there. The compiler is not able to see that. Browser is not able to see कि भाई where is my termination condition is being shown. Yeah, how do I know that where do I need to stop for the first statement? So that is why this delimiter which you are saying the semicolon comes into play. The last one you can ignore because last one ke baad you have no commands or you are like switching to the next line. So this delimiter will basically be acting as a switching to the next line. So now you'll be getting your outputs, right? So if you'll not write semicolons in your functions or semicolons if you are writing code in a different line, then they'll definitely work, but I don't think so it's a good practice. Can you please take class in the morning? uh, Yeah, I'm seriously very packed as well as I'm not unwell since 2 3 days, and I'm not even sure that tomorrow's class. Okay, sir, can you please shift the classes to morning? Like, Abhay, I'm really sorry for that. I'm really sure that सुबह तो possible हो ही नहीं सकता. I'm packed as well, and I'm like really having a busy schedule along with the bad health. So like morning mein to it's next to impossible, which we are also having placements nearby. In the morning the TAs will be helping you out, right? So no worries about that. You have like you can switch the time of DSA, take it in the morning, please. Yeah, adjust for I would request you to adjust for a few days. Like if my things get back in track, I'll definitely switch it back to the same timing. Like I was also comfortable that time, right? This time was like a chill out moment for me as well. Like from this window of 6:30 till my night, I was having my own time, but things are like pressurizing me on my head and blah many different stuffs are there on my head now. So please try to like cope up with me. I'll definitely make the best out of you guys. Like you will be understanding the concepts and all the important things which you need to know as a development stuff, right? So take things parallelly. Try to do your DS in the morning, right? So I guess that will be a balance itself, right? So no worries. Abhi you have little extra time. You can do it like for the next 2 3 classes at least. Uske baad we'll figure it out if I'll get the proper way to switch the classes to the morning, right? And really sorry if you are like not happy with this, but I'm seriously packed. Else I would have never changed the time. I'm really, really packed. No problem, sir. Thank you. Oh, thank you, Abhishek. Yeah, I'll be like well in 1 or 2 days. I know, but this is a viral thing. So can you please see how to step Yes, good. Sorry, how to see the steps of execution of JavaScript code? Okay, so you are talking about breakpoints, Alankar. Okay, so let's do one thing. I'm like changing it to the next line just for your purpose, right? And I'm writing one more function here just for your reference function. The class has been over, like those who don't want to uh, stay here and continue, they can like do their work and do their contest, right? I'm just giving him a hint how we uh, do the breakpoint stuff, right? How x is equal to 10, and let's say console dot log of uh, x, right? Okay, so this is basically I have made, let's just assume a fun function is there inside of function and be like, rather than consoling it out, simply return this in our fun, return this in our fun. This will be stored somewhere. Let's store it in if inner fun, and if I'll be like running my if to nahi kar sakte, that is a keyword I'm saving IFF, right? IFF inner fun function, right? So this is how our code is being shown, right? So if I'll simply click here and I'll go to my index.html, right? I'll simply run my project. I'll go to my developers window. Now I'm getting the output. Let's not like be there in the output. I'll go to my source tab, right? I'll go to my source tab. You're not getting your code because your navigator is being like hidden. Show navigator. You are getting different files which are there. I want to see my app.js file. Then yes, I'm able to see my app.js file here. This is my code flow. I want to again hide my navigator. I'm simply toggling it. Now you can see the breakpoints are there that you have not added any of the breakpoints, like no breakpoints. Scope, what is the scope? Local scope, global scope. Stack, call stack is being added with anonymous names and along with the different call execution contexts are being added, right? So what you want to do is you want to stop your code flow somewhere, right? In order to stop your code flow, you'll simply click towards the line where you want your function to stop before executing from this line and onwards. So you'll be like making different breakpoints for it, and like you can check it out like how things are there, right? So now this is how you can like add your different breakpoints, and each breakpoint, like now you will refresh it now, so it'll stop itself and it'll show you, okay, that I'm on line 72 first and I'm executing this. So what all are the possible things? I'm script scope, IFF is undefined because of not because of the memory creation phase yet. So that's why all this stuff, right? If you are not aware of this MCP and memory creation phase and code execution phase, just try to like, see the recording of the previous class as well, so that MCP and CP gets clear in your head, right? So I guess breakpoint was the issue, and this is how you can go to your source tab, apply different breakpoints and check out the stuff, right? Yes, sir, breakpoint. Great, Alankar. I guess now it is clear, right? Chalo, let's wind up the session. I'll be adding the code to the GitHub like in next 30-40 minutes. I'll just have something, have my meds, and I'll definitely push it up. I hope so. Assignment 2 सबका हो गया होगा. That was easy, but we can discuss अगर need हुआ तो. चलो great, okay. चलो sorry for your inconvenience जितना भी मेरी वजह से हो रहा है, but I'll definitely make sure कि you guys will learn the best out of it, right? Thank you so much for understanding in this compromising stuff. But yeah, thank you so much. Thank you, Amisha. Thank you so much. We'll meet in the next class. I'm not
Hi,
like sure
Samarth.
of the.
Hi,
Hi,
Samarth.
hi.
Samarth, one more piece of announcement. The next class will be on Wednesday. The timing we will inform the candidates by tomorrow end of the day.
Sure, sure. So I hope like you guys have ample amount of time now to do the homework stuff. So the class is on Wednesday. Till then, do all the assigned homeworks, which is written inside this one note, and hopefully by Wednesday I'll be fine and I'll be having a little more energy from today, right? So great. We'll be meeting you guys on Wednesday. Timing is as per now 6 to 8, but you'll be definitely सर एक बार लेक्चर 3 भी आप चेक कर लेना GitHub पे. I have uploaded all the lectures यार Abhilasha. बाकी I'll just add everything and push it again. No worries. I've almost added everything. Like not almost. I've added everything. I'm sure. Okay. So I'll be pushing it to the GitHub and you guys can check it out from there. Great.
Okay. Ending this session now.